Good afternoon, Rotarians. Thrilled to see you all. A great crowd today, and we have a great program for you. We'll get to that here in just a second. I do first want to say thank you to the team that's been providing the great greetings up front. Alex Talley, Tammy Davis, Sam Smith, and Janet Marshall, thank you for serving today at the front desk. And thank you, Amy Mines, for all the coordination for that. We appreciate it. Let's invite up Mary Lackey, who's going to lead us in the prayer, pledge, and four-way test. And then followed by Fran Carter, who's going to do some introductions. We have a handful of guests in the room. So first, Miss Mary, come on.
Good afternoon. Join me in the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Please pray with me. We are thankful for this day that you've given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. As we gather here as members of Rotary, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community. We ask that you guide and direct our club, its leaders, and our actions. Amen. And now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Mary. We appreciate that. And Fran Carter is going to introduce a whole handful of guests.
Thanks, Mitch. We've got a great group of guests here to hear this great program this morning. So if you'll please stand as I introduce you, and then if the member that is with you will also please stand. Gary Adams is here with Aaron Lubin, and Katie Vintecker is also here with Aaron. Erica Dunn is here with Calibra Mitchell. Evans Dietz is here with Jay Gadberry. Jim Shinup is here with Elizabeth Small. Ray Dodd Hester is here with Mitch Bettis. John Hodges is here with Mike Sells. Stephen Riffle is with Sarah Riffle. Jack O'Keefe is here with John Monroe, and Neil Day is also here with John. Jennifer Day is here with Molly McNulty. Dee Osner is here with John Osner. Sue Owens is here with Ed Owens. Lauren Safi is here with Trisha Bean. Eric Bell is here with Ross Burnett. We've got a couple of guests here with Kim Kirkman, Everett Kirkman, and Jackson Nash. And then we have some visiting Rotarians. So if you'll please stand. We have Jordan Stepta from Hot Springs, Jonathan Rogers, and also Chris Dudley from Rotaract. Welcome.
Thank you, Fran. That's great. We love having guests here. We appreciate you being here, and feel free to come back and be a part of what's happening at the Rotary Club of Little Rock. We have been in a season of growth in the Rotary Club of Little Rock. As many of you know, we're one of the largest clubs in the United States. I think we moved up to number 12 or 13. We are also one of the largest clubs in the world. We just crushed Tokyo, for those of you who are keeping up. We're not after growth for growth's sake. We really are looking for the right kind of folks who can help this organization drive change and make the right kind of impact on the state of Arkansas. And so it's really been a blessing, and you'll hear in a minute the growth that we've had when we do a little report. But we have another new member today, and I want to welcome up Susan Blair, who leads our membership committee, to make this introduction. So make welcome Miss Susan Blair.
Thank you, Mitch. We are very pleased to welcome William Wilder today as our newest member of Club 99. So William, come on up. William is Vice President and Commercial Loan Officer at Citizens Bank, and he manages the Central Arkansas loan portfolio. William started his career in banking after graduating from Ole Miss 8 years ago, and he's been with Citizens Bank for 5 years. He's a native of Henderson, Texas, and he moved to Little Rock in 2020. And in the short time he's been in Arkansas, he has really jumped in to serve the community. He served a 3-year term on the board of the the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Arkansas as the treasurer, and he's a graduate of Leadership Greater Little Rock, Class 38. A fun fact about William: he follows real estate and recreational property markets, and he has a fascination with maps, historical imagery, and topography. He's also been an outdoorsman his entire life, growing up in a family that was always in the pursuit of the next big hunting or fishing trip. But his greatest passion is for golf, and so it's really pleasing to introduce him today when we're talking all things golf. William has been a golfer since he was age 3, and he started competing at age 7. He was one of the top-ranked high school golfers in Texas growing up, and he still plays on the weekends and in the evenings as much as he can. So, William, we are so pleased to welcome you to Club 99.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you to the work of all the members of the membership committee. And we're excited to have William here and appreciate what he's going to be able to do to contribute to the club. A couple of quick thank yous. First of all, many of you were part of the volunteer effort at the Camp Aldersgate Fish Fry over the weekend. Thank you for you turning out in force. Both Rotaract was in force, as well as Club 99, and a couple other Rotary clubs were there as well. A special shout out to Sam Smith, who was part of your greeting team today, who is our liaison with Aldersgate. I believe he's on the Aldersgate board as well, and who chaired our club's efforts for volunteer and leadership there. An opportunity to make an impact, fantastic, and I appreciate everybody who participated in that. A couple of reminders. We announced this last week. There's like a calendar full of Rotary events coming up this week. Number one, on October 15th at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock College of Business, there'll be a luncheon honoring the Business and Professional Leader of the Year from Rotary. That is Patrick Scheck of Lexicon Steel. We would love you to be there, be a part of that. There will be an unveiling of his name along with all the others who have been given that award by this club. It'll be a great day, and then there'll be a lunch. You're welcome to be a part of that. There is a sign-up opportunity in your inbox, or contact the office. We've been talking about the book club meeting at Denver Peacock's location, but I think we're sold out at the moment. I think it is, you're wait-listed only. It is such a hot ticket, so, but if you have an interest, feel free to reach out to the office or complete that online registration. You can be in the waiting room, but that's no surprise. That'll be a great book and I appreciate Denver past President Peacock hosting that. Also on October 17, the women of Rotary are getting together at Polk Stanley Wilcox. Sarah Bunnings and Sarah Rifle are hosting our Women of Rotary event this month, and it's going to be about critical topics in women's health, moderated by fellow Rotarian Debbie Davis and other panelists, probably from Baptist Health. So we appreciate those of you who are interested in participating in that. It's always a good time. I'm never invited. I guess for obvious reasons I'm not invited, but I hear it's fantastic. So the Women of Rotary, I hope you have a good time on the 17th being a part of that. As many of you know, our theme this year is Building Arkansas. And we have been highlighting, focusing on, celebrating companies, nonprofits, governments, and individuals who are doing distinctive things around the state that you may not have known about already. We've looked at companies in Pine Bluff, companies in Searcy, companies in Benton, companies in Jonesboro, companies in Stuttgart, companies at the Port of Little Rock, and many others. Last week, we took a look at the only, singular, only rubber band manufacturing company in the country is in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and we took a look at them as well. A couple of times we've been able to turn the lens of celebration on some of our own members. We have looked at Phil Brandon at Rocktown Distillery, Julie Brandingberger at Community Bakery, and today we have a special look at one of our own members, Carrie McCoy, at Flag and Banner. So watch the screen.
Hi, I'm Carrie McCoy. I'm the founder of Arkansas's flagandbanner.com. I was born in Little Rock and had just a regular upbringing, very middle class. My parents were small business owners, so I kind of have it in my blood to be a small business entrepreneur. although I'd like to be a big business entrepreneur. I wasn't really very good in school, but you find that to be true with a lot of entrepreneurs. And so I ended up at a Votech school, and I'm a big proponent of Votech schools. I went to Miss Wade's Fashion Merchandising School in Dallas, Texas. I excelled. I made straight A's. So when I graduated, it was the recession of 1974. I now have a Votech degree in fashion merchandising. And so I go out to get a job. But it's a really bad recession. It's one of the worst recessions in my lifetime. I went to Snelling Employment Agency, and they found me a job working for Betsy Ross Flag Girls, selling flags door to door in Dallas, Texas. I ended up coming back to Little Rock and starting a flag company because I turned, as they say, lemon into lemonade. Came back to Little Rock, started a flag company, and sold door to door. And then when gas prices became too expensive and they deregulated Ma Bell, I went to telemarketing. And then when mail order became big, we went to mail order. And then in 1995, we heard about the internet when I was at a UALR seminar for small businesses. I jumped on, almost lost the company over it. I was spending so much money and nobody in the world was ready to put their credit cards online. But I did it anyway, and I jumped in, and we became the first flag company online in America. I love Arkansas. I love Little Rock. I travel a lot. I even have a satellite office in Miami, Florida, which everybody thinks is the best place in the world. But every time I come home to Little Rock, I love it. It's where my tribe is. It's where my roots are. After going to a Votech school in Dallas, Texas, it's where I came back to. When I bought this building, I bought it because I was in love with the building and the way it looked. But after I moved in, I found out that we were doing a great service to the city of Little Rock. And it is a historical building with deep roots in this city and a history that is worth telling over and over and over again. It was built by the Knights and Daughters of Tabor, a black business fraternity who provided welfare and insurance to the black community before our government ever did. In fact, I believe our current social security system is modeled after what the Knights and Daughters of Tabor started in the early 1900s. Building Little Rock is important to me, but I want to build it from the inside out. I don't want to bring in outsiders to build up Little Rock. I want to build up the people of Little Rock, and by doing that, I want to build Little Rock and the state of Arkansas. That's your soundbite right there. Together, we're building Arkansas stronger, better, brighter for the generations to come.
Thank you, Carrie. If you've been any time with Carrie, there's a soundbite a minute. She's a lot of fun, and so it's interesting to see how she has weathered a lot of storms and built something unique for Arkansas. Thank you for doing that. Before we get to the program today, we warned you last week we wanted to have a version of a business meeting. And you may say, what? Why? Well, because you asked us for it. Go back several months. We sent a survey to the club to help us fashion what will be our plans for the next 5 years in Rotary. Rotary, like any business, has a strategic plan. We have areas of growth, areas we want to improve, areas we want to make an impact, and our 5-year plan was coming to a close in June, theoretically, of this year. And so we began a process to develop a new 5-year plan, one of which was surveying the membership about things, opportunities it saw, things it wanted to change, things it wanted to do differently. And one of those things was, hey, we'd like a periodic update on just how the club is doing. So great, so here we go. This is sort of our first endeavor with that. Also, the new strategic plan is something you now have access to. It has been sort of sanctioned, endorsed, completed in its way. You received an email today inviting you to this club as a reminder of the club's date, activity, and program. In there is a link for the strategic plan. And I hope you download that and access that and read that. That is guiding everything the board is working on. That's guiding the committees, and you're going to see some of that here shortly. So we're going to do a quick dive into this. I'm going to go fast. There is a lot of detail that's happened to get us to this point. Briefly, this 5-year plan started under Jason Chaco's leadership about 8 months ago. Well, about 8 months ago for sure. There was about 8 months of work starting in the fall of last year through all of the spring. And there was a group of roughly 30 some odd folks, some in groups of 10s, some in groups of 30s, who met and hashed and met and hashed, and many of you were part of that, sharing ideas, looking for opportunities, thinking about ways that Rotary can make a better and bigger impact. And all of those ideas were facilitated by a professional facilitator that we brought in to help us end up with a project, a guidepost, a template that will really serve as something that is really functioning. As most strategic plans, many of these ideas in there and goals are high level, so there actually are now a handful of subgroups happening to flesh out a few of the details of that. But let's go through sort of what the goals are and where we are already the first quarter into the year, right? So this is sort of our accountability to you in this journey. So big picture on the strategic plan, we do want to grow as an organization. We finished membership in June of this year was about 319, and we set a goal of returning to about 350 to 375. That is a healthy size for us. Again, we're one of the largest clubs in the world, but as a functioning club and really mobilizing and marshaling resources, we really like that size. So our goal was to do that, which in effect over a 5-year period means we want to net 15 new members a year. Yes, we have new members like William today, but we also periodically lose a member. Life seasons change, businesses change, some people move, some people retire. So we have, just like you, business comes in and business leaves, right? Like every business, we have a version of that too. We want to have a net 15 growth a year and make sure our attrition, those we're losing, becomes a more manageable thing. It actually crept up over the last couple of years, post-COVID and a lot of changes. We got into the 20% range, I believe, so we want to bring that down. You can see we want to be active recruiting companies that provide some diversity. We love bankers, lawyers, and accountants, and there's a lot of those that are part of Rotary. But we want organizations, companies coming into Rotary that may be different. So we've purposely been looking for different kinds of companies to broaden our scope of contacts and influence and understanding. And we want to do that through some specific ways, a more concerted outreach, better relationships with our friends at Rotaract, and better partnerships with Leadership Little Rock. So here's where we are. To all of those goals, we are on track at the moment. We actually, from July to present, have a net 31 new members. Keep in mind our whole goal for the year is net 15. That means we're running ahead if you want to do that simple math. We've actually brought in about 43 new members this year. I mentioned we've been in a very impressive season of growth, and that's a lot of credit goes to Susan and all of those working on the membership team. And so we've lost 12. For all those reasons I mentioned before, that's an attrition rate of about 4%. We want to keep under 12%. You can see that we are sort of on par and actually performing ahead of goal at the moment. There have been new ways to sort of reach out and invite people to Rotary. We have a new level of outreach, and many of you have responded to that. We have a direct mail campaign. Every month, Susan and I have sort of, with Karen and a group of folks, have targeted a group of leaders in the community to send a letter to and invite them to Rotary. Some of you in this room who are new members are part of that effort. That was a targeted personal effort of people we respect and value and think can bring something to this organization. We've had about 14 of those 40 new members, about 14 have come from a direct mail effort that we have been doing. We send a letter, we do follow-up conversations, and all of those kind of things. The best outreach, then we also have expanded relationships with Leadership Little Rock. We have a new partnership with Leadership Little Rock. Many of you are Leadership Little Rock graduates, and a lot of those folks who go through that program are the leaders that our community is going to be leaning into. We want them thinking about Rotary as a conduit for effective outreach and service. And then Rotaract. You have heard me talk a lot about Rotaract this year, encouraging you to put your 20-something and 30-something employees in your company in Rotaract. It's very inexpensive, about $125 a year. That's includes lunch every month. They get to start building a professional network. They start thinking about service with other peers. Chris Dudley is here today, who actually is president of Rotaract and doing an incredible job. Dan, his partner, is also here periodically. He's the incoming president. He was here last week. They're active in this club, but we want more people in Rotaract. There are 20 to 40 people there now. We would love to see that club grow to about 60, and then more of those folks continue to move into the big club, as it were. We have a strategic plan around engagement, meaning once new people are here, how do we mobilize them for service? How do we get them involved in moving this community forward? How do we engage them in service activities and different committee work as well? So here's where we are. One of our goals for the strategic plan was to launch an ambassador program, meaning we've asked you to come alongside new members, to volunteer to be the person who introduces new members to other people in the club, to help get new members plugged in. It's a light lift. It's not heavy. It's not a long-term commitment. We need more of you helping us do this. Basically, you're just a partner in this early days with new members. We have, again, 40 some odd new members. There are 1 or 2 ambassadors kind of alongside each new member, and I appreciate Kristen Nicholson, who leads the engagement committee, for getting this organized. There's a whole team of people on the ambassadors group. We would love to have you there. We need you in this season of growth. There are new things coming in terms of the strategic plan. Ask us to do some meetings differently, such as some different kind of networking events and getting to know each other and connect on a little different way. We're working on some of that. Don't let that scare you. It'll be great. We had a great meeting about it yesterday, and something's coming in December. There's some things in there too with engagement for some other efforts to better build relationships in this club rather than just showing up, doing meeting, and walking out the door. We're working on what that looks like. One of the big things on engagement was to get your feedback. You know now, for the last, since probably August and September, you have been getting an email, and we hope to eventually have text. You'll get an email from the office saying, how did you like this program? You're about to be rated today, by the way, so bring your A game. You're about to get rated. We ask you to rate the programming and give us some feedback, because we want this programming to be meaningful and connect and advance the goals that you have here. And that feedback, 30 to 50 of you are really faithful about providing feedback. I wish all of you provided the feedback. Log on, hit a button, say like, didn't like, and here's why. It's really easy. But if you're not getting that in your inbox, it may be going to spam. You need to be checking your spam, because we'd love to have your feedback. But goal to launch a survey for feedback, check mark. And events. We have a collection of events that happen. Laza, I saw a minute ago, leads that with Kristen Nicholson after out-of-meeting events. We had a great event not long ago at the town pump that it felt like half the town was at, which was awesome. There are a couple other social events that are coming to allow us to connect and get to know each other a little better, and I appreciate those efforts as well. We have a couple of goals around service. We are a service club. We have more than a couple of goals. That was a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. There are a lot of goals around service. In particular, we historically have what we call a signature project, a big, multi-year project to make a dent in a big problem, a big thing, so that this club can help our community be different and distinctive. And we are in the process of identifying what that is. There's about to be a task force developed. We're going to ask some of you to help shepherd that project. The strategic plan indicated, yes, keep the big project. We want the big project. And now we want to define what that is and what that looks like, and we're going to engage many of you to help in that process. We have a variety of smaller projects. I do use that in quotes because they're often not very small, but these are the things you know a lot about. Things like this weekend, Camp Aldersgate is a good one. We're continuing those programs as well, but we do want to sort of vet those and make sure that those are good long-term things for us. We want to increase participation in these things as well. And so here are some of the things that we do every year and from service. You say, what does Rotary do in the name of service? Here's a whole list. These are active programs that you are chairing, championing, just like Sam is our champion for Aldersgate. There are champions for each of these, leading this effort to make a dent in the community and make an impact. And so these are all the things that we have under what we call service. We had goals under communication. So we wanted to launch new tools to be a more effective communicator, such as a post-meeting survey. So here we go again, and that has been done. We want to expand certain partnerships and expand some relationships with the media, so we'll explain that in a minute. So new tools, we are working on the text function in our Rotary software. It's not cooperating. The email function does. So you are getting a post-meeting survey. And from the strategic plan was the goal to basically deluge you with QR codes. So you can see every week there's usually another data pack hidden at the QR code on your table and other QR codes about other information you may want. So we're trying to find different ways to make sure you're informed about all the things that are going on. Again, with communications, expanding some of our strategic partnerships. We talked about the importance of Leadership Arkansas. We've talked about the importance of Rotaract. And we want our external involvement in our communications and our sort of vocal partnerships and communication to be expanded as well. We do want to continue to have a healthy relationship with the media outlets in the state. You have seen at almost every meeting we've done, some members of the media are here. We have some that are almost regulars at this point, and we appreciate the Democrat Gazette being here, both in writing, the reporters. You were here last week as well, if I remember right, Amir, and photographers. They're often online, and you don't see them. There have been many television cameras here. Arkansas Business is frequently here, as you can imagine. But that's an important strategic thing, because we want to tell the community the great work that's happening here. And that just doesn't happen. We have a firm, Natalie Gaddati's firm, who shepherds all of these relationships with us. Somebody needs to reach out, work on logistics, and be intentional about the communication. Think strategically what media outlets need to be in the room and what do they want. There's a whole effort that goes behind that as a way to sort of improve our public presence. And I will tell you, we get a report every month and every quarter about how many times Rotary Club was mentioned in the Democrat Gazette and Arkansas Business, KTHV, KATV, KARK. We get all those reports, and when it goes national, we've had multiple reports go national. We have some big presence. I think Yahoo had a big, there's all kind of things. Industry trade groups pick things up. You remember we had the leader of USA Rice here talking about rice. Well, again, all the industry groups begin to pick up those things, and Rotary is represented in all of that, and we find value in that journey. We also, through Gaddati's work and through the work of the club, want to increase our social media engagement. We want more people following our particular channels and being educated about those things. All of that requires great programming, and that's why I'm so grateful for Mandy Richardson and the programming committee, who's been really thoughtful about bringing high-quality programs here, because frankly, that's why the Democrat Gazette's here, because they value this content for their audience, right? So all of these things do work together, and we appreciate the value of strategically thought programming on this journey. And we're winding down here. Again, we think about programs. We obviously want to continue bringing the right people to the stage. There are going to be a couple of different kind of programming events coming up here in the future, and I think you're going to get a kick out of those. We want to launch quarterly updates as well. So here we go. Here's where we've been. Have we been hitting the mark on great speakers? I think the answer has been yes. We are working on a couple of other programs with both networking and service. So that's not done yet, so they have no fancy check mark. We have launched the live updates. That's today, by the way, so this is the first of the updates. The others maybe won't be this long. This is just getting us kicked off, but there might be some shorter updates through the year. And we hope all the great programming, all the new members, and all the great engagement, and all the service activities result in more people in the room. We want attendance to these meetings to grow. This is amazing to see a full house just like this. And we have a goal to grow the number of members who show up each week, as well as the goal about members and guests. And you can see right now we're up about 10% in member attendance for the year versus last year, and up about 15% members and guests, and all that stuff gets tracked, of course. So, but it does help us identify if we're meeting your needs and doing the right thing by the strategic plan. Also, financially, the broad update here is that because membership is up, our finances are looking healthy relative to the budget that we have for this year. And so we have been pretty blessed with this season of growth, and as dues are paid, that contributes to the financial health of the club. I encourage you all to pay your dues this month, by the way. Just throw that in there, shameless plug, because it ultimately funds the good work that the club gets to do. The other piece that funds the club's good work is our foundation. We have a whole separate board. There's a board for the club, and then there's a board for the foundation. There's a separate board managing the money. There's about $3 million in our foundation funds. I hesitate to call it an endowment, but our foundation funds, and the throw off of cash on that specifically helps us fund the community service efforts. It's not really meant to fund anything else other than very strategic things to help build this community a better place. So by way of a quick update, that's it. Here are a couple of interesting stats on areas that you might find interesting. Rotary International, the number of women in Rotary International in a club is about 27%. The Rotary Club of Little Rock, our female membership is at 42%. Yet another way we are leading, and that's fantastic. The average age of a Rotarian is 54, so you can benchmark yourself on whether you're above or below that, and have been in the club a fairly tenured amount of time, 8 years. So that's good, and some of you have been in Rotary many more years than that. We talk about the largest clubs. The largest club in the United States is in Alabama, and the largest club in the world, VJ, you're going to have to pronounce that. You got there you go, Vijayawada. Oh, just like it sounds. All right, Midtown India. Thank you. That's helpful. I appreciate that. At 764. Those are not our goals. I'm just sharing that as a trivia for you. So, any immediate questions before we move to the program? We're going to do these updates periodically. They will get shorter and a little more opportunity for engagement. Again, go back and look in your email and grab a copy of the strategic plan if you have any questions. Yes, sir, Brother Greg, past president.
No questions, but I asked Terry McCoy why the heck she wasn't here today. The fact that they installed a new bar in Greenland Mall, we sent pictures. It looks really good.
Awesome. Very good. Very good. There you go. Yes, very good. All right. Well, thank you all for enduring that. We will work on how that's presented and but continue to provide you some updates as how we're meeting the needs of that strategic plan and making an impact and building a better Arkansas. Let's turn to the program today. Mr. Aaron Lubin is going to kick us off with introducing the program. Aaron, you're on.
Oh, are we ready to talk golf? All right. Is this a beautiful day? Beautiful day to play golf or go to a golf tournament? Well, Barry Brandt, Todd Jacobian, and Freddie Black, the tournament chair, guaranteed next week is going to be beautiful weather. No snow, he promises. Well, next week in Little Rock, we've got the opportunity to experience a beautiful golf course, Pleasant Valley, which is going to host the Simmons tournament presented by Stevens. Last year's tournament was extremely successful, and this year's tournament promises even to be better. We are fortunate to have with us three great speakers to talk about this program, and I think after you hear these three, if you already have not purchased your tickets, or if you've not volunteered as a volunteer, there still may be some spaces open. You'll want to do that. First, Freddie Black. Freddie is with Simmons, and he was last year and this year's tournament chair. Freddie has been on the ground floor of bringing this tournament to Little Rock and has continued to be a leader in making this tournament even more successful. Next, Michael Cadotto, who is our tournament director. And Michael is a seasoned professional in golf management. He's worked at over 50 PGA Tours and PGA Tour Champions events. And finally, Glenn Day, who became a professional golfer in 1988 and who has been ranked highly over the years. Glenn was inducted into the Arkansas Hall of Fame in 2024. And from the beginning, Glenn has been a leader in bringing this tournament in Little Rock. Glenn and his wife, Jennifer, have been very active in supporting nonprofit organizations in Little Rock, especially Quartai. Gentlemen, tea time is ready.
Is this a hot seat? You wanted me to sit?
See if I'm on. Thank y'all for having us again. An invitation from Aaron to the Rotary is a special one, and it comes with a weekly reminder for 6 months. When and where to show up and what to do. So I had to poke you a little bit, Aaron. We were here almost a year ago, and so some of it may be a repeat of what we told you then, but a lot of good things have happened since we were here. I wanted to start with Glenn. Glenn, I think I told him the story about how a Champions event came to Little Rock, but I was really telling it secondhand. And so I wish you would tell the group about your first conversation.
Well, a lot of you remember Jennifer and I used to have a day for charity. We had a tournament here in Little Rock, one day pro-am, brought guys in. And we've always wanted to do this. This has been a big dream of mine, goal. And so we were playing in a champions event in St. Louis. And Simmons Bank was one of the sponsors up there. And George Macris was there with the group. Neil, were you there then? I don't know. And so anyway, I had said hello and everything, and I was sitting at lunch by myself. And as they started to walk out, I don't know why, I just said, George. And he just, I stunned him. And I said, do you have a minute? Let me talk to you. And I said, did you like what happened today? Did y'all have fun? Did Simmons get a lot out of this? And he goes, yeah. And I said, wouldn't you like to do this in Little Rock? And he looked at me real funny, and I said, we can do this in Little Rock. And so that's how it got started. We started talking about it, and the Simmons people kept calling me, different people. We've had this conversation that, okay, I understand what you're saying, but can you guarantee me that this is going to be a success? And I said, you're asking a $64 question. I said, you can either accept what I'm saying and believe me, or you're not. So Simmons took the bull by the horns. We got started. We put ProLinks involved. I brought them in to help run the tournament, and that's basically how it got started. It took from that meeting, talking with George, it took 3 years to get it here. That's how long it took to get it here.
Firsthand. I think I tried to tell the same story. I was close. But what makes the Champion Tour players enjoy coming to Little Rock, and how does this compare to other events?
Well, I'll tell you this and Jennifer can speak from the wives part of it. So here's some of the comments I heard last year from players and caddies. One caddy said, hey, I went in to put gas in the car, and I went in just to the service station. And the guy behind the counter went, hey, man, how are you doing today? He said, scared me to death. The guy was from up north, okay? So, I mean, if you're from north, I'm sorry, but, you know, that's not the way we act down here. And I kind of looked at him like, okay, your point is? And he goes, man, people are so nice around here. And I went, yeah, people are nice around here. I can tell you another story. Ernie Els calls, and they were staying at the hotel, and they went to, what restaurant did they go to? Sauced. I think they went to Sauced out in West Little Rock, right by the golf course. Him and Retief Goosen, they went in and sat down to eat, and they didn't order anything, and all of a sudden a beer comes to the table. And they're like, and the lady said, well, somebody sent you a beer. Oh, okay, great. Then some appetizers came to the table. Well, somebody sent you that. So they're looking around, and then all of a sudden there was another beer that came to the table. Now, I'm just going to say, Ernie and Retief are not going to shy away from a cold beer. It's not going to happen. So they end up sitting there. Finally, they got up and said thank you, and everybody clapped and all, and they left. They didn't spend a penny. They didn't spend $1. And they're like, golly, man, everything is so nice. Everybody's so nice. You never really hear the word no. You may hear, I can't do that right now, but let me work on it. And so kudos to Simmons and to Michael and to the group that are doing everything. It really shows the hospitality of the state of Arkansas and the city of Little Rock, which I'm thrilled to be a part of, and for it to be shown the way it was shown last year. Everybody's excited to come back this year.
Players chose us Tournament of the Year. So we've got a high bar to chin this year. Michael Cataldo is new to Little Rock, moved here in January, and he has been such a great addition to the ProLinks team here and our golf effort in Little Rock. And he brought his girlfriend along. I'm sure she'll soon be his wife, but we'll see about that. But I think they both like Little Rock, really love Little Rock. And you might tell us a little bit about your transition to Arkansas, Michael.
Absolutely. Yes, Little Rock really does feel like home. I grew up in the Midwest, Des Moines, Iowa, and have been all over the country since then. Most recently, I moved up here from Boca Raton, Florida. But, you know, the second we landed in Little Rock on January 2nd, it was it really has felt like home. Everybody in the community has been fantastic, welcomed us with open arms, and the support that we have received, not just personally, but also for the Simmons Bank Championship being here is really second to none from anywhere that I've been. And we couldn't be more thrilled to be here, and we couldn't be more thrilled for the tournament coming up next week.
That's awesome. Michael, share with the group what the activities look like for the week and what's new this year.
Absolutely. So we have a full week of events kicking off Monday morning with our Women's Leadership Summit presented by Baptist Health. That'll roll all throughout the day, and then in the afternoon we'll have a junior golf clinic in partnership with the First Tee of Central Arkansas. As we get to Tuesday, we have a new event coming this year, and I'm going to preface this with it stemmed as a kind of one-off conversation with Padraig Harrington's caddy last year. He said, Pleasant Valley Country Club has the third nine. It'd be pretty cool if we could go out there and have a little caddy tournament. And Mr. Macris had a better idea and said, no, you know what, we're gonna make this a big deal. And the 4-ball at Pleasant Valley Country Club is such a big part of their culture there, and the shootout that they do. So we said, all right, let's have a shootout for the caddies on Tuesday night. So Tuesday night of tournament week, we'll light up holes 16, 17, and 18, and the caddies will team up and play a shootout until we crown a winner at the end of the night with live music, local food and beverage, and just good times to be had by all. And that's just Tuesday, right? We've got pro-ams on Wednesday and Thursday, all before the first tee shot is even hit. And then we kick off Friday morning with our opening ceremony in partnership with Chevrolet and Folds of Honor. And that's when we're really excited to welcome out all of our spectators, our wonderful volunteers that really make this event happen and carry it on throughout the weekend and watch some fantastic golf.
Thank you, Michael. It's, you can tell the guy loves his job. He is really doing a good job. Tell us, Michael, charities are one of the cornerstones of our tournament. Tell us a little bit about the tournament's charitable impact.
Yeah, at the root of what we do, every event, every ticket, everything that we have going on throughout the course of the week is with charitable impact in mind. We're creating these events to give as much money back to charity as possible, and in 2025, we've been able to donate over $250,000 from last year's event, to organizations such as the First Tee of Central Arkansas, Folds of Honor, and many more throughout the state. And that's something that we're looking to continually grow year over year and make a lasting impact in the community that supports us so well.
Thank you, Glenn. Our field's shaping up really strong. Can you give us some insight on who's coming to Little Rock next week?
Well, Little Rock's a playoff event for you who are not familiar. So it's the top 54 that is on the money list. So those people will be coming. They're out of the 54. There's always a couple that do not come. So we've got the best of the best coming. The Champions Tour, I believe Michael and I were talking about it last year. The field consisted of 180 PGA Tour wins and 140 PGA Tour Champions wins. We're not going to even get into the amount of career earnings that all these guys have because it's astronomical. So we're going to have a great field coming in. Everybody is excited about it. Everybody loved the golf course last year. I've heard nothing but positive things. Jennifer and I get phone calls all the time. Hey, what about this? What about that? What about this? Can we do this? So everybody's excited about it.
Glenn, as you were with the guys the last couple of weeks, who should everyone keep an eye out for coming to Little Rock? I know there's a lot of guys playing great golf right now.
Well, the game of golf has changed over the years now, and you've got, and I say kids, the 50 years old that are coming in. They are hitting the golf ball a country mile, just like Padraig did last year. Now there's more of those guys. The guys you got to look for are Stuart Sink. I played with Podrick on Friday last week, and he hit the ball fabulous. And he was talking about the golf course. He loved the golf course here. So you've got to look at the top guys. You've got to look at Stuart Sink. You've got to look at Miguel, and Podrick. Those are your three top guys right now.
I'd like to mention that, there's several people in this room that are participating in our golf tournament as sponsors or hospitality purchasers. And that's who makes the tournament happen, is the local businesses that embrace an event like this in Little Rock. It really is a community event that we're all proud of, and I invite every one of you to participate in. And, it couldn't be put on without our volunteers. There's volunteers in this room. And come Monday of next week, or really before then, we turn the tournament over to that 900 volunteers to run the tournament. And last year they did an excellent job. So many of them returned, and Katie was introduced earlier. She's our volunteer coordinator. This is her first effort at this alone, and she moved to Little Rock also. So ProLinks has a team of 6 people. Michael and Katie are 2 of those 6. And starting now, they start dribbling in from all over the country that run other tournaments to come here to help ProLinks. They're ProLinks employees to help the last 2 weeks leading up to the tournament. So there's a lot going on, and we're proud of Katie and Michael for sure.
I will say one thing about the volunteers. By far, the volunteers are the most important thing that any PGA Tour or Champions Tour ever had. And volunteers, playing through the years, I was amazed. People take their vacations and they would go and volunteer at a golf tournament. And I'll tell you one quick story. We were playing in Hartford, Connecticut, and I made a hole-in-one on number 11 one time. And there was a lady behind the green. She was a volunteer, and she had a little kid with her. That kid couldn't have been 4 years old, okay, maybe 5. And I gave the kid the golf ball, signed it, gave him the golf ball. She's so nice. I saw her there all the time. I saw her there every year. I want to say it was the last year I played Hartford, but that same lady was there. That kid that I gave the golf ball to was there. And I'm not saying I'm old, but he was 21 that week. So that's how long they've been doing it. So the volunteers are by far the most important thing here. And from me and all the players, I just want to say thank you.
Michael, what about tickets? We got any tickets left?
We absolutely do. Tickets are on sale now at simmonsbankchampionship.com. We really strive for this to be a family event, right? We want it to be affordable for families. Kids under 15 are free, and there's so much to do outside of watch golf, right? We've fantastic food and beverage offerings, a kids zone where they can go and play and take mini golf lessons. We'll have a tailgate party on Saturday, but there's really something out there for everybody, golf fan or not. But tickets are available starting at $30, and we've ordered the good weather, and Mr. Lubin said he confirmed it's going to be all right. So we look forward to seeing everybody out there next week.
Thank you. What about questions? We good for questions now?
Anyone have questions? I have a question, so I'll start you off. I've heard some scuttle that Arkansas Business has a story coming out next week about what all goes into actually putting on this tournament and an event at this caliber. So I would be curious, Michael or Freddie, if you all could share some information with us on just exactly how many weeks and some of the insights behind the scenes it takes to put together this event.
That's a great question, and we get this question a lot, but it really is a year-round planning process. So Sunday of tournament week, that last putt will drop, and we're already thinking about 2026. As soon as we get the stands, everything torn down and cleaned up, we're right back at it, getting ready for the following October. It takes a lot of time and a lot of manpower to recruit 900 volunteers, get all of our site plans ready to go, polished off, make any changes that we want, and staying relevant in the community throughout the other 51 weeks of the year is very important to us. But I think you'll find this article coming out very interesting with, some of the stats and facts just around, how many TVs are coming in, how many miles of roping and fencing, everything along those lines. And Mitch, thank you guys for doing that for us.
Glenn, you've been around the golf profession for a long time. Share with us, what are some of the changes that are taking place in the golf industry, golf profession in the last years?
Well, I can tell you when I was a young man just starting to play, I went to a tournament one time and Hubert Green was there. He was playing, okay? Hubert Green is an old professional who's passed away a while back, but he was known as a real crotchety old man. I mean, people didn't want to talk to him, whatever. And so I'm in the locker room one day, and Hubert comes over to me, and he goes, "Kid, I remember when this game used to be fun." He said, "And all you kids came out here and destroyed it." And I said, "Mr. Green, I'm sorry, what happened?" He said, "You kids started bringing briefcases out here and made it a business." He was all mad about it. So now that I'm the crotchety old man, I can tell you that I remember when this game used to be fun. And the kids destroyed it. They started bringing workout trailers out here. When we got done, we went to the bar and we'd sit and have a beer or we'd sit and have a drink with the wives and we're talking and everything and we'd be like, "I'm worn out. I'm going back to the room taking a nap." These kids go work out. They go play, constantly. Now, even on the Champions Tour, like I said, the young guys that are coming out that are 50, they're working out in the morning. They get up 4 hours for their tee time, which we play at a very comfortable time, usually between 10 and 12. That's fine. So they're getting up at 6. They're starting to work out. They're doing everything. They play golf. They hit balls, and they go work out. And it became not fun. Technology changed. The strength of these young guys have changed. Before everybody said, "Well, golfers aren't athletes. Golfers aren't really athletes." Well, I'm here to tell you they are athletes in today's world. They are tall, they are big, they are strong. Technology's changed tremendous. The golf ball has changed. The ball goes forever. In today's world on the PGA Tour, they have all of these computers set up, and it records every one of the shots that you hit all year long. And you are privy to your own data. So you get that data. These kids get that data, and they send it to a company, analytics. That's the word I'm looking for. Analytics company. And they pay them $50,000 roughly a year, and they create all of these data points, and then they send it to their teachers, they send it to their coaches and everything else, and it tells them how to play the game of golf. It's amazing to me. We used to just look down there and go, "Well, there's a green and there's a bunker and it's rough over there. I better hit it over there." These kids don't do that anymore. They hit it as hard as they can. They go find it, and if they miss a cut in the PGA Tour days, if they miss a cut, it's no big deal. They don't care. Because if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to have one good week, which if you have one good week, there was no sense in making those last 3 cuts. Where we strive, the big thing was to make a cut. So it's changed a lot. Most sports have changed a lot through technology and everything else, but that's a basic answer.
To follow up with you on change and technology, what are you doing to enhance participation with those with special needs?
Well, they have a lot of different ways that what you're talking about, Special Olympics, things like that. I'll tell you what, Chris Mays is our pro out here at Pleasant Valley. Wonderful professional. The game of golf cannot go without the PGA of America and the PGA of America professionals. And at that level is where they're teaching the kids first tee. Do they have a PGA? I don't know if they have a PGA of America there. But that's where they are getting a lot of the instructions, and people are being encouraged to bring children out. Special needs creates a big swath. That's taking a big swath at it. Ernie Els, for instance, has an autistic son, and he's big into that, and they are helping through golf. He puts on little tournaments for autistic children and such. So it is a big push. I'm not sure if the PGA Tour has grabbed a hold of it the way they should yet, but I do know the PGA of America has. Not when I hit it, but yeah. Because Jay hits it about a little worse than I do. That's a bad thing. But the game of golf is real weird. Michael is here as our tournament director and such, and I had his phone number in their phone. He's from Des Moines, Iowa. I played with his father in the Pro-Am in Des Moines multiple times. I tried to call Michael about 3 separate times, and I'd call, and he'd go, "Hey, Glenn, what are you doing? This is Senior." I go, "I got the wrong number." I kept calling his dad all the time. Finally, I had to change his number out of the phone. So golf is like a family, and we're a traveling circus, I can assure you.
Thank you, gentlemen. If you'll stay right there for a second. Hang tight. Hang tight 1 second. We appreciate you being here and helping us have a better picture of what's coming in a couple weeks. Aaron Lubin, thank you for helping arrange all of this and for keeping Mr. Black on the straight and narrow on a weekly basis. He does that for all of us, by the way, so that's why we appreciate Aaron. Gentlemen, we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate you speaking and being an advocate here. One of the things we do for each of our guests is the following. The state of Arkansas has asked us to be a partner with the literacy efforts for the juvenile justice centers across Arkansas, the young men and women who have had some kind of legal trouble that are in a rehabilitation mode. And they've asked us to buy books for their libraries to help these young men and women read better and begin to make better decisions as they go through their rehabilitation. So we're in the process of buying hundreds of books for these facilities in the state of Arkansas. And because of your being our guest today, there will be a book jacket on some of these books, recognizing your presence here today, and as a gift to these young men and women. We want to be able to say both you and Rotary believe in these young men and women, look forward to a life of impact, and this is our way to do that. So we appreciate you being here, and you'll be part of that program that we're doing with the state of Arkansas. So thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Hold 1 second, we'll let you go. I know you're ready. I can see you. We have another great program for you next week. The Chancellor at the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, Chancellor Charles Robinson, will be here. And so we know that's going to be a full house. We look forward to you being here as well. Have a great week. You're adjourned.